but you expanded the story, I believe, this time. You said you were desperate. You were living for your kids, that you'd taken a really hard existential blow, and that you were fighting to survive. And your idea is that by exposing yourself to emergency conditions, essentially, which is the ice cold exposure, that you're calling on these deep, deep mechanisms of survival to make themselves manifest, and that generalizes to other, hypothetically generalizes to other crisis situations in your life. It's a really interesting idea, that, and the periaqueductal gray that you referred to, that brain area, that's a very interesting brain area, and it is crucially responsible for pain responses, and depression and grief are pain-like responses. And so the fact that area showed activation, was that as a consequence of a cold stressor, or how was that activated?
Yeah, by going regularly into the cold, the person goes willfully, consciously, neurologically, then is connecting with the brainstem, with the periaqueductal. Because you don't want to experience the pain and you will learn that you will be able very soon to not experience pain anymore, or to neurologically connect with that area. And then when in daily stress comes in, then suddenly you find yourself being able to fend off the stress just at will, because that's what you have been exercising.
There's a very long history of depression in my family, and so I used antidepressants for 20 years after I started suffering from depression, especially in the winter. So it was seasonal affective disorder, and it got to the point where it was debilitating, and it hit my father as well, and hit my daughter and a number of first cousins and aunts and uncles. It's very thoroughly populated on my father's side. And so, but I stopped taking antidepressants 5 years ago when I changed my diet, because I was also suffering from autoimmune disorders of various sorts. And so it's a long story, and lots of things happened, but I also used an anti-anxiety medication after a particularly severe immunological reaction, I think, to something I ate, but I've never been able to be sure of it. And then I suffered from complications that were extremely severe when I tried to stop using the anti-anxiety drug. So, and that propelled me into, well, a terrible situation. I developed this condition called akathisia, which makes it impossible for you to ever relax, ever. It's like being prodded by knives, like many knives. And you know how now and then you're sitting and you have this impulse, you have to move because your body tells you that you're uncomfortable in that position. And so you move. Well, that happens all the time because you're shifting position constantly so you don't wear out your joints and your muscles. And well, ramp that up by a factor of 1,000 and then make it happen every 5 seconds nonstop. And that's akathisia. And like akathisia, the case reports indicate that people are driven to suicidal ideation within an hour of akathisia onset. It's that unbearable. And I had it all the time, although I did get, it's not quite true because it would improve through the day and I get some relief at night, and some people don't. I had it for 18 months. I'm in pain pretty much all the time, and it's quite severe. I think it's a consequence of neurological damage, so my feet, my hands in particular, feel like they're in extremely hot water all the time, and that varies. And sometimes I have a bit
got something for that.
Okay.
Those are the extremities, the feet and the hands. They have a different physiology. If you train them for 2 minutes in icy water, get them out and do this, the neurology of the hand is connected to the vasodilation, the opening and closing of veins. So if you only do the hands, then the rest of the body is not jeopardized with the cold, which is danger. Then the first thing that is going to be shut down, those are the extremities. They are going to be sacrificed. So right now, because of the neurology, for whatever sake it is, medicines, pills, this, or stress, or whatever, the first thing is are the extremities that will be affected. And so the thing is, 2 minutes. I just had a woman, for example, listen to this example. A person comes, a bodybuilder, top of the world, comes, and his wife, he comes with his wife, and he asks me, she has cancer, but she cannot be treated. She cannot be treated, and she has no white cell count enough to be treated with chemo. She's not strong enough. And can you do something about it? I say, just go and into doing this breathing and the cold showers. And I've been hearing so much anecdotal evidence of people with breast cancer, etc. And they had a low white cell count. Suddenly, within a week's time, just in a week's time, the white cell count multiplies by 10 times, 11, in her case, in 10 days, 11 times. 3 weeks after that, she was treated with a chemo like on a regular basis because she had an enormous amount of white cells, and she's good now after 3 months.
Okay, no, it's interesting. So
I'm almost there. Almost there. And now her mother, the mother of the guy, she had these problems already for 20 years in her hands. Her hands always neuropathic pain because of the rigid vasoconstriction going on for 20 years, always having to suffering from a little blood flow. And she just did the 2 minutes, and it's gone. I mean, I heard this many times. It's a whole department in many universities just to treat the extremities. They are into riddles, while nature gives us very simple things, and it's all over. Why mystifying so much within from mental depressions to physical ailments to neuropathy? We have a possible innate, much deeper control within ourselves, and it's waiting for us. And I'm trying to get this out. You do that through your great contemplations. They are outstanding, and sometimes I cannot follow where you all go because you're amazing. You go into these myriads and come back like a spider. You got all this, but I can feel what you have done. High trees catch a lot of wind. That's what you did. And now you got physical consequences out of there. I think because I've been in nature, I see things simple. I bring this simplicity to you. Hey man, I see that you got to take a little bit of herb of this, and there's a tree, and you take a little bit of the bark. It's out of experience. And that's what I see. So if you do put the hands 2 minutes in a bucket with ice water,
okay,
then the rest of the body will go okay.
I'm in a sauna, hot sauna, for an hour, and I walk 7 miles, and then I work out for an hour, and it's a hard workout. And then in the shower, I use this very, very rough scrubbing device for about 20 minutes, and I do every square inch of my body, and my nerves seem to crave this hyperstimulation. And I've been using a massage machine for my feet, which I'm in about an hour a day, and I have this vibrating table, which is really well made. It's really powerful, and I've found, I've been experimenting with it since we talked, and I can stay on it for up to an hour, and it just vibrates extremely rapidly, and it's adjustable in terms of its speed. And I've learned that if I stand on it or put my hands on it or sit on it, that I can move the vibrations throughout my body with an accuracy of about 1 inch. Like I can get my little finger to vibrate, or my fourth finger, if I tense and relax. And that actually seems to be helping. And so, you know, when you weightlift, you have to push yourself to the point of some tissue destruction before you reap the benefits. So you do some creative destruction and then some regeneration. And we talked last time, and I discussed with you the fact that in psychotherapy, especially behavioral therapy, but not only, you find out what people are afraid of, and then you expose them to that voluntarily, in graduated doses according to their ability to tolerate it. And that's radically curative. It's extremely effective for dealing with fear. And so you're doing the same thing with physical stress rather than, say, psychological stress. So, like, the pain system is older than the anxiety system. Anxiety is sort of a replacement for pain, right? Because you get afraid of things that might cause you pain. But pain is really deep and really, really old. And so I could add that 2 minutes. That's interesting. So you think I could put my hands in ice water? Would it be water with ice?
Yes.
And do the same with my feet?
Yes, exactly. A part of each other.
Okay, and would I do that? What if I did that before bed? When would be the best time to do that, do you think?
Would be great. Would be great.
Okay.
Do you feel the breathing helps?
Well, look, the breathing machine has helped a lot. Like, it clearly moved me, like I said, from about 5% function to about 40 or 50. These machines, the massage machine, that helps. I can feel my feet and hands getting better. That's probably neurological damage from the withdrawal process, although I can't be sure. It's very complicated. My life has been really, really stressful for 5 years. And so I don't, emotionally and practically speaking, for a variety of reasons, partly as a consequence of these sorts of attacks that I talk, like, my name has been in the press linked with, horrible epithets constantly. And then I've also been quite emotionally affected by all the people that I've interacted with, because my book and my lectures got extremely popular and widespread. And so I hear a lot of people's intimate life stories in very brief bursts. And that's generally very positive in one sense, because they're telling me because they're getting better and, their lives are improving, and that's really good. It's really wonderful. But I've also been exposed to, what would you say, a surfeit of human psychological misery. And so that's also been overwhelming, I would say. And I can't tell how all of these things have come together. All the things I'm doing seem to be helping. I've only been using these machines for about a month, and I had nothing was helping me at all. I couldn't find any strategies that were giving me any relief before that. But I think the cold exposure and the breathing are helping. I'm certain the weightlifting is helping now that I'm able to do that again. It stops me from being able to become anxious. Even if I'm worried about something, my physiology has settled enough because of the stress, I think, because I've stressed myself and then recovered. So that doesn't seem to go beyond a certain limit. But I'm not healthy. I'm still running only at about 50%. And I'll do anything to fix this, including putting my hands in cold water for 2 minutes. I'll try that tonight. And my feet, that's a really good idea.
That's great. I mean, what you have written and what you have done, that's putting your neck out and going past your fears and write it so beautifully down and for everybody. It's a great guide. Now it's time for yourself. Time for you, because you will be able, or you should be able, to do so much more in the future. Not only for the world, but also or more for your own family and for yourself. So I'm a family man myself, 6 kids, and we have gone through tragedy, and we have come back, and now we are world company and thriving, and it's all great. But we know where we have been in that trauma, and coming back out of the depression. Depression is our goal, to relieve the world of depression, and make things happen which were not present when we lost our mother, my wife, our beloved. The whole of psychiatry was not able to do anything then. And now I hear so much anecdotal evidence of so many people who have been in such a long time in the darkness, in the depression,